Test, test, test. La, la, la. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is video number 4 in the series. I got my sleeves rolled up because we're going to get to work. We're going to start talking about goals. I know a lot of you have a bunch of goals that you want to achieve still before the end of the seminar year. And this video is all about how do you finish strong. And so a lot of you need to roll your sleeves up and get to work as well. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 3 essential ingredients that it takes to finish strong. Okay? The first one is you've got to sometimes, I think pretty much all the time, for the position that most people are in, is you've got to reassess, refocus, and recommit. You've got to take a look at what your goals are right now going forward, and we need to create a 3-month game plan for you so that at the end of the year, you can look back and basically, feel proud about what you accomplished instead of looking and comparing your goals to what you set at some point in the future, or last year's goals, or what you know you could be doing, or what have you, in the perfect world, and then creating misery because you're comparing yourself to things that are just making you feel bad. So we'll talk about that. The second ingredient is a goal-getting action plan. And for each one of these, I'm gonna dive deeper here in a minute. But we need a goal-getting action plan that's more than just what are the mile markers along the way to our goals. And that's a piece of it, but we need to know exactly what to do to get each one of those mile markers. And then the third essential ingredient is, this is the fun one, we need to fix the inner game, all right? Your current inner game has gotten you exactly where you are. And if you want more than what you currently have, you probably need to have a better inner game, right? And I know, we all talk about, we just got to get rid of fears. We've got to stop procrastinating. We've got to do better time management, all these things. But I want to teach you what it actually takes to create those changes. Not just know about those changes and tell yourself, beat yourself up that you're not making the changes. It's about how do you create those changes, all right? Okay, so let's dive into each one of these 3. And when we look at reassessing, refocusing, and recommitting, here's one of the foundational concepts that you have to start with, that it doesn't matter what's possible. And I know this might be kind of controversial. We hear a lot of stories about people that were up against the gun and they just, like hunkered down or put the blinders on or sacrificed a bunch of stuff and they just got it done. We hear that. I mean, there's a lot of those stories inside of Mary Kay. We hear those kinds of stories, outside of Mary Kay in direct sales or even just in general life. But that's really dangerous to focus on what's possible. Because what it does for most people is it creates expectations and it creates false hopes that aren't realistic. Now, I am all about shooting for the stars. I totally am. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you should hold back and just, create goals that you could trip and fall and get. That's not what I'm saying. I'm all about pushing the envelope. I'm all about maximizing your potential and going for it. I mean, there's just something in me that just loves going for it. But most people, when you just focus on what's possible, you create a situation where you don't believe. You commit to something consciously, but unconsciously, you're not committed to it. In fact, unconsciously, you're setting yourself up to fail from the get-go. So it's not necessarily what's humanly possible that's important. It's what's doable and what's believable for you. Okay? Because you can have 2 people right here, side by side, and we can put the same goal in front of both of them, and that goal could be humanly possible, but one person might have the resources to make it happen. They might have the space in their environments. They might not have the inner conflict that's going on. They might have the time, to go ahead and do it, and they believe that they can do it. And the other person, same exact possible goal, maybe she's, a single mom with 4 kids or something, doesn't even have the space inside of her environments, the space to work the business, and maybe there's some deeper conflict inside that she doesn't believe that she can achieve it. So it's possible for both of these people, but only one of them even has a chance to get it, because for only one of them is it doable and believable. So what's important is that we have a goal for you that is within these parameters, something that's doable for you and that's believable for you. Now, I want to push you to the edge of that zone, but I don't want you to set yourself up to fail by saying, well, this is possible because so-and-so did it, or, you know, I know that I can do it if I really put my mind to it, you know, but deep down there's actually a belief conflict, or it's not realistic. You'd have to sacrifice a lot of things. So I want you to push the envelope, but I want you to push this envelope, the envelope of what's believable and doable for you, not this envelope of what's humanly possible, right? And I think a lot of you know this, that I'm not a big fan of sacrificing your fun and your freedom and your values in order to get across any finish line, because after you get across that finish line, if you've sacrificed along the way, you'll usually do more long-term damage and more harm than good, okay? Now, here's another key piece. I think pretty much all of you that have been in Mary Kay for, you know, the last 9 months, most of you started last year and you created some goals. But here's what I want you to know. Your July goals do not have to equal your April goals. Now, people hate, a lot of people at least, they hate when I talk about this because, you know, we get programmed in society that you got to persevere and you got to go for it and you never quit, right? Winners never quit, quitters never win. But here's the deal. If you set a goal in July, especially if you were like emotionally drunk at seminar or after seminar or whatever, or you had some like life-altering realization, you said, you know what, this is the year, I'm going to do it. 2012 is the year. June 30th, 2012, I'm going to be here, and you might have sworn on everything holy to you that come seminar 2012, you're going to be in this car, or you're going to be in your director suit, or you're going to be wherever it is that you committed you were going to be back in July. But here's the reality. There are very few people that over the course of the last 9 months have stayed committed to that goal and have been doing what it takes to get those goals. Some of those goals were totally unrealistic in the first place, but a lot of them weren't realistic. It's just over the last 9 months. If you haven't followed through with that game plan, then you now have 3 months. And what most people are trying to do is they're trying to make up for a 9 month, 9 months of inactivity in 3 months. And you can't create 12 months worth of actions in a 3 month period of time just because there's a fire that got lit, underneath you. That's not realistic to you. So we need to reassess, okay? This is the beginning of April, at least as I'm filming this. What are your goals from here to the end of the year? And just because you set lofty goals back in July, and even if they were doable and believable back then, there's nothing wrong with letting those go, because if you're not willing to let these go, because quitters never win, winners never quit, right? If you're not willing to let those go, then chances are 99.9% of you will finish the year unfulfilled, unsatisfied, unhappy. And that's not the best way to start the new year. I want you to finish the year feeling good about yourself. I want you to finish the year on a high note. And if most of you keep your July goals, you don't have a chance of that happening. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're just going to scrap everything and just limp across the finish line and just totally be okay with no results. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying let's set you up to succeed, because long term, what matters, what's really super important, is that you feel fulfilled along the way and you've got a feeling of success, right? Ending the year feeling like a failure, contrary to what most of us are doing, is not the best way to create your goals for the next year. But that's what most people are doing. They're ending the year feeling like a failure, feeling miserable. They're comparing their results with what they, set out to do 12 months ago, and they feel bad. And contrary to what a lot of us think, and sometimes what a lot of us are taught, if we have those negative feelings, that will not propel us to get our goals the following year. As a matter of fact, it just sets the precedent for failure. And what happens is a lot of us have connections between setting goals in general and this yucky, nasty feeling that most of us have at the end of the year. So I want you to end this year feeling good. I want you to have a positive note, right? And then use that momentum to bang out all of your 12-month goals that you want for the following year, but you've got to be going on an upward trend to do that. You can't finish this year feeling terrible about yourself. That's what a lot of people are doing because they don't want to quit. But reassessing does not equal quitting, right? You got to look at this from a long-term perspective. What's more important long-term? feeling terrible about yourself at the end of the year or feeling good about yourself at the end of the year. And what I want to tell you and what I want to teach you and walk you through is how to create a lot of progress between now and the next 3 months. I'm not just going to teach you how to, just be okay with where you are, not move anywhere from now to June 30th and just be okay with it. I want to teach you how to maximize what you can get out of now till June 30th. And what I'm telling you, for most of us, we need to scrap this goal first. And what will happen for almost everybody who does this, if you're not willing to scrap the July goals, you will only be able to go so far, especially if you're just following the same recipe that you've always been following. But if you scrap your July goals, recommit to a 3-month goal from here until the end of the year, you will get farther than you would if you wouldn't have scrapped this goal. So this is all for your benefit, right? If you scrap this and recommit here, fully committed, you're going to get further over the next 3 months than if you're not willing to quote unquote quit on the goals that you set out to do in July. And I want you to be further along. I want you to be as far as possible at the end of this year. And what I've learned over the last 6.5 years of coaching, Mary Kay ladies, is that this is the point of time where we have to reassess. And we have to scratch some of the goals that are not doable, not believable from this point forward so that you can go further from where you are right now. Now, in order to do this, what you must have, and so many of you, if you've been in my community for a while, I harp on this until I'm like blue in the face. You must have a customizable and a clear action plan. Here's the key word, action plan. Most people's plans are not action plans, they're results plans, right? In order to get the goals that I have, just use a Mary Kay example, in order to get the goals that I want, I need to do X number of skincare classes between now and June 30th, or 3 a week, or 5 a week, or whatever. I need to book X number of facials. I need to have, get 30 faces. None of those are wrong. It's just not complete enough for most of us. What we need is we need to know what are the actions that we have to take that are customizable to us, to me, in my unique set of experiences, beliefs, desires, fears, all of those things. I'm a unique recipe. You're a unique recipe. What are the customizable ingredients that we're going to put into your recipe filled with action plans, the things you can do on a daily basis, not just the mile markers that are based on results. What can you actually do? What can you get out of bed and do to set you up to succeed in order to get those goals, right? And I'm going to maybe talk a little bit about that here in a moment as we get into goal getting. So the first piece here, I want you to understand there's nothing wrong with reassessing, refocusing, and recommitting because it's in your best benefit and you'll be further along at June 30th if you do this. Now, some of you, here's the thing, some of you might reassess and you might actually be on the same path as the goal you set in July. That's fine. Not everybody has wasted the last 9 months, right? Some of you have been tracking over the last 9 months, and there's nothing wrong with stepping off the path, reassessing, refocusing, and recommitting, and realizing, the goal is actually still the same. So most of you need to scrap your goals, but not all of you. So I'm not saying, some of you might even have to up your goals because you're already on pace, beyond pace, to get those goals that you committed to in July. So you need to reassess and create bigger goals, more lofty goals, so that you can finish out whatever you want to by the end of the year. So again, this is a customized plan as well. It's not just a one-size-fits-all. But one of the worst things you can do is say, I stood up in front of a bunch of people in July and I committed on everything that's holy to me. I promised these people that could hear me, I promised my family, I promised myself that I would be in this car, that I would be here, that I would be that, right? If you're not willing to assess that and scrap anything if it's not believable, then all you're going to do is repeat the same cycle of failure, and I don't want that to happen for you. So all of this is in your benefit. Let's talk about goal getting. Let's drill down on a couple of these pieces around goal getting. Once we reassess and recommit to what you want to do from here over the next 3 months, we've got to make sure that in this customizable game plan, you've got the 5 C's of commitment, right? Now, commitment is not just a faucet that you can just turn on. Most people think commitment is just something that you stick to and you persevere through, and it's like a conscious thing that you can just go, oh, I'm committed. And we tend to be really committed when we're emotionally drunk, right? At the end of the old year and the new year comes along, we create these New Year's resolutions that usually have a shelf life of about 5 to 7 days for a lot of us. And it's because we emotionally commit to something when we're emotionally drunk, but we don't have the 5 C's of commitment at the unconscious level. What I've learned is at the unconscious level, you've got to have 5 filters in your goals and in your game plans. And if you don't have these 5 filters covered, you don't have unconscious permission to commit to any of your goals. And those 5 filters, number 1 is control. We are all unconscious control freaks. You need to have a game plan that you control 100%. I could do a whole hour on that. I have actually, so I'm not going to go any deeper into that right now. The next one is clarity. Your unconscious mind really works like a heat-seeking missile, so we got to be crystal clear on what it is that we want, but also what it is that we're going to do to get there. And that goes back to the customizable game plan that I was talking about. You need to be crystal clear on that. You've got to have emotional charge around your desires. Most of us have more emotional charge on our fears than we do on our goals, and the unconscious mind is more driven toward charge. So if you've got more emotional charge in a negative sense than you do in a positive sense, you're going to be unconsciously magnetically attracted toward the emotion, right? So we've got to replace the negative charge with positive charge. That's why we do visualizations and goal posters and stuff like that. Although most people do those the wrong way, they actually demotivate themselves by looking at stuff that they don't really even care about at an unconscious level. So I want to teach you how to create that emotional charge inside, right? Another one is congruence. Your goals have to be congruent with your beliefs about yourself, about success, about direct sales, about Mary Kay, about the opportunity, about the products. You've got to have a belief congruence. They need to be congruent with your timing. Like I said, if you only have 2 hours a week to work your business and you've got a goal that calls for 5 hours a week, those aren't congruent. They don't match. There's going to be a conflict there. Your environments have to be congruent. Your goals have to be congruent with your purpose. What's your purpose in this planet? What's your purpose in Mary Kay? Your goals have to be congruent with your values, right? There's several things that we need to look at internally and make sure that your goals are actually congruent with what drives you internally. And then the last one is you've got to give yourself a sense of completion. Now, this is one of the reasons why it's so important to reassess your goals, because if you just commit to the goals that you set a long time ago and you don't give yourself a sense of completion at the end of the year, like you accomplished something, if you end feeling like a failure, you will not want to sign up again. That's just the way the unconscious mind works. And what's super important is that we play at both levels here. We're not just playing at the conscious level of what goals and targets do we want to create and where do we want to go, what do we want to achieve, what awards do we want to get, there's nothing wrong with those things. There's nothing wrong with having the clarity around what awards, what recognition, what titles you want. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is most people stop there. Most people think that if you have a clear goal, you want to be in the Cadillac, you want to be in the director suit, you want to be a team leader. Most people think that if you have a clear goal, you're going to be inspired to go after that goal. That is one of the worst mistakes and lies that we have been taught or we've just been programmed to believe. Just having a goal does not mean that you'll be inspired to go get that goal. So we got to work at both levels. We've got the tangible goals, and then we've got the intangible desires, the drivers, right? So you need to know what your drivers are. Beneath the surface, why is it important for you to get into the Cadillac? Why is it important for you to be a director? Why is it important for you to create financial freedom? Why is it important for you to quit your job? Most people think that they know what drives them, but most people are actually totally ignorant about their own motivation strategies. What are the recipes that actually motivate me internally? And if you don't know what inspires you, if you only know what motivates you externally, then you can only succeed when there are tangible rewards being thrown at you for doing something, right? You need to know what intangibly drives you internally so that you don't need anybody offering you prizes or promotions or titles or money or anything external and tangible. You don't need that stuff. It's an internal inspiration that each and every one of us has. It's about finding what that is and tapping into it. When you can tap into it, it's like you turn on the never-ending faucet, a supply of fuel and energy and desire and drive and determination and courage and all the things that we want. Those are all in intangible, and these are drivers. What emotionally drives you to get your goals? And it's not the tangible symbols of success, I can guarantee you. Now, once we get clear on all this stuff and we know what emotionally drives us, we've got to create habits that are going to serve us basically in the completion of our goals all along the way, right? But here's what I want to point out. We need to create layered habits. One of the mistakes that I see people make is they just come back from a training event, or they read a book, or they listen to a CD, or they have a dream, or they just have some kind of significant aha realization, and they're like, I got it. I've got to put all these habits into play. Maybe you go to an all-day training and people are telling you all the things that they do, and you come back home, you're emotionally drunk, and you decide, I'm going to do all these things, right? I'm going to do affirmations, I'm going to do goal posters, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m., I'm going to fix my schedule this way, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do this. And what's happening for a lot of people is in this state of being, I keep saying it, emotionally drunk, we commit to things that we can't follow through on. And habits are really important, obviously, to create the success that we want. I know all of you know that. But the mistake that I think people make is we try to build too many habits, we try to put too many habits together at the same time, and we haven't created space for the habits, and we don't give those habits time to actually stick and hold and grow roots. It's like most people come back from some significant realization or aha, and it's like, I've got 6 balls here. Most people are like, all right, I'm going to put all 6 of these habits into my schedule. But what that's like is taking somebody who's never juggled before and trying to learn how to juggle all of these balls. Right now, I've never juggled. This will be the first time that I am actually trying to juggle in front of you here. But what most people are trying to do is juggle. Hey, this is kind of better than I thought I would be. All 6 of these balls, but invariably there's going to be a lot of stuff that fall down. And as you're trying to chase the balls that are falling, you're going to create more frustration, you're going to create more overwhelm in your life and your business. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate that this is the way a lot of people do it when they create habits. But what I want you to do is I want you to say, okay, I have these habits that are really important for my long-term success, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement one at a time. Now, one at a time might be one day, it might be 1 week, it might be 1 month. So this doesn't mean you're going to go slow, but I want you to focus on one habit at a time. And once you get really good on this habit, now you can introduce another one. So once you get used to waking up at, I just dropped that one. I guess I'm not demonstrating this very well. Once you get, really good at waking up at 5 o'clock, and create a habit around it for a week, couple weeks or whatever, then maybe you start doing affirmations, or you start doing a mirror exercise, you start doing something else, and you layer a new habit in after the other habit has stuck. And then eventually you'll be able to handle more habits. Well, my juggling demonstration didn't really stick here, but hopefully you get the idea. We've got to do is we've got to create, layered system of habits. And what are the most important habits for you to implement right away to get you in progress and get you in motion? And then what are the habits that we can put on top of that? I would rather you layer in one habit a month, let's say, and at the end of a year, you've got 12 new habits that are all serving you in your success, than to try to implement 12 new habits today. A year from now, you're not going to have any of them in your life, or you're just going to be sporadic with them because they haven't stuck, they haven't grabbed, right? They haven't started to grow roots in your schedule, in your normal behaviors and habits and so forth. So layered habits are really important. Now, the habits that you need are going to be unique to you. That's why it all goes back to customizable action plan, what your drivers are, and so forth. So I want to help you identify what those habits are for you. And another key piece here is I want to teach you how to find what your recipes are for success and recovery. We all have, like I said earlier, motivation strategies. We all have success strategies. We all have an ingredient or a recipe of ingredients that works for us. And when we're not achieving the results that we want to achieve, it's usually because we've fallen away from our success recipe. We're not eating right anymore. We're not going to the gym, or we're not reading, or we're not making the phone calls, or we're not, creating time for ourselves. We're not doing the habits or the hobbies or whatever it is. Again, it's unique to all of us, but we all have a unique success recipe. And this is one of the most powerful concepts that you'll learn, because when life is not going well, you can look back at your success recipe and realize almost immediately, usually, what you got to put back in your schedule. And these short-term, immediate tweaks usually have very big positive rewards in terms of results when you go back to your success recipe. And similarly, we all have a recipe for recovery. So when things are going bad, how do you turn the ship around? We all have a unique recipe for doing that, and it's important to know what that is for you so that you can write it down. And if you're ever in the situation where you're going south, right, you've got these recipes to fall back on. So that's one of my favorite pieces. Now, this last part that I'm going to talk about in this video is the inner game. And I think we all understand how important it is. You know, my friend Jim Cundiff always talks about, you know, the 6 inches between your ears. That's where the game is won and lost. And I think we all understand that. But where I think most people are mistaken or misled or just missing the boat is that it's not enough to know what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, especially when we're talking about the inner game. I want to teach you how to actually create those changes. Like, for instance, we all know that we should like ourselves. We should have high levels of self-esteem. We all know that if we have more confidence, our sales results are going to increase, our recruiting results are going to increase, our happiness is going to increase. So I think everybody knows that if you have more self-esteem, more confidence, then you're actually going to enjoy your life more, your business results are going to be higher. But very few people know how to create that confidence. How do you create the self-esteem? So I think a lot of people are walking around knowing what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing, but they don't know how to do the things they should be doing, and they don't know how to stop the things they know they shouldn't be doing, right? I don't know if all that came out as clear as it was in my head. Hopefully it did. So it's not a matter of just knowing, it's a matter of understanding how to create these internal changes that we need to create. So one of the main things that we'll be talking about over the next 3 months, if you decide to join our mastermind group, is eliminating these success cancers. You know, there are 3 fears and 2 poisonous peas that I call the success cancers. The fears of rejection, failure, and success. Again, most of us know we shouldn't be scared of rejection. Most of us know we shouldn't take it personal. Most of us know failure is only feedback and it's going to get us closer to yeses. Most of us know that stuff. But we still aren't able to actually eliminate those because we don't know why they're created in the first place. I want to teach you why they're created in the first place. Most people understand consciously, logically what fear of success is. But again, most people don't know why they have a fear of success. And obviously, if they don't know why they have it, they can't fix it. You can't untie a knot if you don't know where the knot is and you don't know how it was tied in the first place, right? And then the poisonous peas, perfection and procrastination. Once again, everything I said applies to these 2 as well. We know we shouldn't procrastinate, right? We know we shouldn't be a perfectionist. But what causes these things? Now here's the good news. What causes basically all 5 of these is a conflict, an internal conflict, whether it's a belief conflict, a values conflict, an identities conflict, but these conflicts are what creates all 5 of these things. So it's like these are all branches from the same tree. So one of the things that I'm going to make a core teaching in this program is how do you clear up those conflicts so that these will basically go away on their own and you'll be able to manage them a lot more, right? If you want this long-lasting success, you've got to do this inside-out game. Long-lasting foundational success that's going to be around for months and years in your business requires an inside-out approach. Most people are going outside in. Most people are looking for the magic bullet that they can, use to recruit 5 people a month for the next 3 months, right? When you've only recruited 3 for the first 9 months. Is it possible? Sure. Is it believable? Probably not, right? And if it is, then we've got to do some serious inside-out changes for you to create those kinds of shifts in your results, which is again, it's doable. But for most people, just having the goal is not enough, right? We've got to clean out what's going on inside that's created the problem in the first place. And what that equals is what I am calling connection conflicts. These fears of rejection, failure, success, perfection, and procrastination are usually connection conflicts. They're conflicts of limiting beliefs that we have. They're conflicts of past experiences where we've been hurt before in relationships, or we've set out to do certain goals, we failed and we felt bad. These connection conflicts are the inside. They're like the anchors at the bottom of the seafloor that's causing the boat to not be able to drive out of the harbor, right? Many of you have heard me use that analogy before. We need to know what those conflicts are. Now, here's the good news. It's not painful. It doesn't have to take a long time. But if you don't understand what these are, and if you never identify what those are, your results just simply cannot change. You know, going back to that analogy, you can get as good as you possibly can at driving boats. If there's an anchor at the bottom of the seafloor, you only got a certain radius that you will ever be able to move in. You will never be able to go any further than that because the anchor won't allow you to. Most people have those kinds of conflicts down below, and we need to clear them away. One of the benefits is I'm going to teach you this whole process that gave me the biggest breakthrough in my entire life, basically, of how to identify what your belief conflicts are and how to clear them away. And, you know, create new habits, create new identities, create new patterns that will release that anchor from the bottom of the seafloor and let you, you know, be free to move, free to go in your business. And most of these things are going to fall away on their own, but you're going to have a lot more control in your life. This is the most passionate, you know, I get the most passionate when I talk about this stuff, when I help people clear those kinds of conflicts, because that's when true change happens in your life. And if you want these long-lasting habits to be around in 6 months, in 12 months, in 5 years, you've got to be willing to do this game. If you commit to the outside-in approach and you just commit to a series of quick fixes, you will be unfulfilled, you will be unsatisfied, you won't be happy. It doesn't matter if we're talking about 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If you commit to the quick fix, you will never get, you know, fulfilling, long-lasting change. And this is ultimately what it comes down to. Fun, and the word I just said, fulfillment. That's the important thing that I want you all to commit to. I don't want you to commit to your tangible goals. I don't want you to commit to any of the symbols of success that we get programmed with in society. I want you to commit to fun and fulfillment. And when you can release yourself of any of the conflicts and you can release yourself of those fears and all that stuff, and you can have more fun on a day-to-day business, which, by the way, is the best selling tool and the absolute best recruiting tool you can have, is if you can authentically have fun in this business, not fake fun, authentic fun. If you can be authentic and show up in just a state and an energy of total fun, people are going to want to know what you're on, and people are going to want to follow you, and they're going to want to join you. And if you can be fulfilled, then you're going to be happy every single day. You know, a lot of you know the story of my life, which is when I was 13 years old, I was hit and almost killed by a car. And ever since then, I realized we only get one shot on this planet. And I've really been focused on how can I make today the best day if I don't know if I'm going to get tomorrow. So I am totally focused on helping you create fun and fulfillment in your life so you can enjoy the journey along the way. And when you get to that point, you're going to be able to get all of your goals a lot easier. But when you just focus on getting the goals, even if you get your goals, there's no guarantee that you're going to have fun doing it, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get fulfilled doing it. So commit to this first. The other things are much easier. So hopefully this whole video series has really helped you implement some things that are changing the course of your business. I've gotten a lot of comments from a lot of you that says, you know, these are great, and some of you are getting immediate results. You know, like the day you watch a video, you start calling 3 times more people, or you start having different results in the energy that people are giving back to you in your recruiting results and so forth. And I love hearing that. And if you want more, then here's what I'm going to invite you to. I'm going to do a program that I've not done before, specifically for the people that are in this, you know, the boat that I've been talking about, you know, the people that really want to finish this year strong. And so what it's going to be a 3-month mastermind, okay? And it's going to be called Finish Strong, because that's what we want to do. We want to finish strong. It's going to be a 3-month mastermind. We're going to get on the phone every other week. It's going to be group coaching calls, basically. If you can't make all the calls, we're going to do them Sunday nights so they don't interfere with people's success meetings. But obviously, not everybody's going to be available every Sunday night that we're doing the calls. So everything's going to be recorded. You're going to have all the handouts that are available on an archives page. You're going to have all the calls that are available that you can listen to. You can download and put them on your phone or put them on your iPod and listen to them later. So it's going to be really valuable. Ideally, I'd like you to go through it live so we can make the changes and implement and layer them in like I was talking about. But if for whatever reason that's not where you want to be, or that's not where you can be in your life right now, then everything will be recorded and you can kind of go at your own pace. We're creating a support community specifically on Facebook, where you're going to have a lot of people that you can ask questions to, you can celebrate your successes with, and there's nothing like being in a group with support, right? And I know a lot of you understand what that's like when you go to your Mary Kay meetings, you go to seminar and so forth. We're just going to have a group of people specific to this group, so, to our mastermind, the Finish Strong Mastermind, so that, we can all be talking the same lingo, talking about the same stuff that I'm teaching you and so forth. And that level of distinction, I guess, is really important. You're also going to have bonuses. Listen, I'm just going to be honest with you. I want this to be a no-brainer decision for you. I want this to be easy for you. I want this to change your life. I want this to help you get further along over the next 3 months than you would have gotten without this information. I want you to have more fun. I want you to feel fulfilled. I want you to end the year feeling good. I want you to start next year with momentum, with motion, with a positive energy about you. It's much easier to build upon success than it is to feel like a failure and then try to create success out of that energy of failure. So I want all of these things for you. I want this to be a no-brainer decision for you. I want you to commit to making those internal shifts that you need to make. And here's where we're at. We're at about 3 months before, a little less than 3 months before this seminar year is over. What we're going to do in this game plan, or in this program, is we're going to strip away all the stuff that's not necessary. If I only have 3 months of stuff to teach you, I'm stripping away all the stuff that's not necessary, and we're just going to get in motion immediately right now. Out of the gate, I want to teach you some things that are going to get you in motion, and I want to just teach you the most important pieces that you need to finish these 3 months strong, but the right way, with integrity, with honesty, with transparency, with authenticity, right? And with fun and with fulfillment. I'm not willing to teach you how to sacrifice any of those things just so you can get a goal that won't bring you fulfillment once you cross the finish line. I want to teach you things that are going to continue on through the course of your entire Mary Kay career and your life in general outside of Mary Kay, right? And so I want you to think about, what's the lifetime value of this? If we can teach you some things that change the way you set goals from here forward and helps you teach any of your team members going forward, or your children, for those of you that are parents, how to set goals and how to create a feeling of success and how to increase self-esteem and confidence, what would that do to your business? What would that do to your life? I want you to think about a lifetime value of this, not just what you're going to get out of it over the next 3 months. But having said that, I want you to get a lot out of it over the next 3 months. I want you to finish June 30th further than you would have been without this information. And again, I want you to feel good about how you finish this year. We're going to add some bonuses to this program. I'm really trying to make it a super simple decision for you. One of the bonuses, you're going to get a 90-day extension of our Eagles Club. Many of you are already in the Eagles Club. We'll just extend it for 90 days. If you're not in the Eagles Club, it's a group monthly coaching program where you get CDs and live phone calls every single month, just more support, more positive program, and that by itself is worth more than the investment on this program. You're also going to get a private consultation with one of our coaches where we can take a look at what's going on in your life and give you some ideas of, specific, customized to you, not cookie cutter, one size fits all approach. We're going to help you identify what are the things that have to change in your life, internally, externally, whatever. You can use that time however you want to create the success and fulfillment and everything that you want in your life. And that by itself is, I think about twice as much as the investment on this program. Everything is fully guaranteed. The investment on this program, there's 2 ways to invest. If you want to save a little bit of money, just do it all up front. It's only $97. So it's less than $100. It's the cost of, less than the cost of one positive skincare class, right? And I want to help you get out of your way, remove some of these fears so that you can take off in your life, in your business, and so forth. If that's, for whatever reason, too much for you, we've even put a payment plan together where it's just 2 payments of $57. You're going to pay a little bit more that way, but if it's more digestible, then you can choose that as well. There's also some disappearing bonuses, which means the first 25 people that register for this, the fast action taking bonuses, the first 25 people are going to get 6 months in the Eagles Club. We're going to extend it out full 6 months, which is over $200 in value. The first 10 people are going to get the Eagles Club bonus extension, plus you're going to get a product package worth a couple $100, all kinds of Mary Kay specific products for you. Really, really valuable stuff that's just like, supplemental to some of the things that we're going to do in the Finish Strong program. For the first 3 people, if you're a really fast action taker, I want to speak to you personally. you're going to get a consultation with me privately. It's going to be a 45-minute consultation worth over $300 that I want to help you implement some of the things you're learning somewhere over the course of this program. So if you're one of the top 3 people, you get that bonus as well. But I don't know when you're watching this video, even if those disappearing bonuses are gone, the bonuses themselves are great, but the program itself is where the main value is, obviously. So I want you to join us. If this is if it's resonating with you, take action, join. It's fully guaranteed. If anytime over the next 30 days you're not liking it, you think I'm not fulfilling on what I'm telling you, you think you already know this stuff, or for whatever reason, you don't like anything about the program, we'll give you all your money back. I want this to be no risk for you. I want to take all the risk on myself, and I want this to be a no-brainer decision that you can say, yes, I'm in. It's time to reassess. It's time to refocus. It's time to recommit. I want to finish this year strong, and I want to build some momentum going into next year. So if that's you, then join us. I look forward to having you in the Mastermind program. We're going to start in the middle of April. Again, I don't know when you're watching this, but we're going to start in the middle of April. All the details are on this page here below. You can scroll down if you haven't already done so. Click on register and join us in this program. My intention is that this is the most powerful 3-month program that you'll ever be in, and it will transfer into all kinds of areas of your life. This is a lifelong program squeezed into as much as we possibly can get. All just like knockout blows, just the most important stuff in this 3-month program to get you where you want to be on June 30th. So I hope you see enough value in yourself. I hope you see enough value in your business to join us on this wonderful journey. I look forward to seeing you in the program. I'll see you on the other side. Take care.